Hey guys, James here again. This is me. What if Luffy? No, Luffy. What if the Straw Hats all had devil fruits? Now, the title of this story would be "The Gods of the Sea Set Sail." Now, I'm looking basically at the Straw Hats' devil fruits, or devil fruits that would fit the Straw Hats perfectly, either physically or in terms of their personality. Now, Luffy, Robin, Chopper, and Brook have the same fruits. No difference whatsoever. Zoro. First, it was actually Quina who had the devil fruit, and then eventually, well, she had passed away, and Koshiro actually had found the devil fruit, and, well, he found it. He kind of cursed, basically, just thought the devil had the fruit had given Queen a bad luck. He kind of just thought the devil gave Queen a bad luck, and it's known that devil fruits, well, they possess devil since the name. He was able to blame the devil inside the fruit and cut the fruit up, hoping to destroy it, only to give Queen's devil fruit to the Wado Ichimonji. And that, well, that Wado happened to have the fruit Tori no Mi model Nue. The Nue basically has the face of a monkey, the mane of a flaming lion, the body of a flaming tiger, and the tail of snakes. The snake's body all whipped to its mouth. And then it can transform into a storm cloud, which will allow travel. So, yeah. The gold blade itself transformed into a storm cloud. But then if Zoro were to kind of get better control, or someone were to get better control of the Wado Ichimonji's sword, they can kind of just turn the whole blade into basically a storm cloud, like the storm cloud the size of maybe a town, and you can still hold on to like the hilt of it and control the storm cloud, where like what direction it goes. And if you have enough hockey, you can even control how much lightning bolts shoot down from the storm cloud, and how strong the gusts of wind are. But you can also just kind of spark up flames and control the flames go. Koshiro had given Zoro the blade after, thinking of it cursed, but Zoro seemed to have really good luck, better than Queen has at least, so Zoro had the blade. But yeah. So, yeah, we should go on to the next Straw Hat, being Nami. Her fruit is a Kazekaze no Mi, and is a Wind Logia. Just think of an airbender in Naruto, think of an airbender, I would say an airbender, but the best reference I can get is like Zahir and Aang put into one, but then put them in the Naruto verse, give them chakra, give them the wind nature release, and then make them made of wind. Like Zahir, Aang, Naruto, and Fujin from Mortal Kombat. Like, put those four into one creature, but then they can all turn into wind. That's kind of what Nami can do. She can do all their abilities, just not a Rasengan. She can do like a press ball of green wind and slam it into someone, send them flying. Make hockey, and she may have her learn hockey, and she may have a Rasengan on her hands, but who knows? Maybe even Rasen Shuriken. Usopp has the zoom no Mi, which allows him to basically zoom in up to basically just zoom into the point where he can see, like, if you were to have advanced observation hockey, you can see the point where you can almost see molecules in your body, or what molecules make up your body. But without it, and just honestly just really decently good vision, he can see at least into your pores. Like, he can see in your pores. So that's how good Usopp can zoom in his sight. If he's not using his fruit, it gave him an automatic, basically just 20 times better vision. Like, oh, you can see 3.1 miles as a normal human. Now with this fruit, you can see up to 61 miles away. So it came in really handy for him. But you can also zoom out up to 20 times, so that also gives him a lot better range of vision. But it also does make him blind to things that are like directly in his face. Like if you're like 5 feet or closer to him, you're basically blind to him. He can barely see you. It's like a big weakness. Big weakness. Being up close to him is really hard for him to see you. If he's like using his fruit and you're up close to him, he can barely see where you are. It's even worse if he zooms in on you and you're too close to him. Then he's just traumatized. It's not a weakness, he's just traumatized. That's all it is. But yeah. Also gives him 360-degree vision, he can slightly see through walls, and he has thermal vision. Perfect ability for a sniper. But this all comes from intense training, which Usopp cannot do on the current island he is on. The best he can hit trees and just see a bit farther, but the thermal vision, all that, he doesn't unlock it, because there's no need to unlock thermal vision. He's a pretty normal kid, I'd imagine. He's up late, but not late enough to need thermal vision. But yeah. Sanji. This is hard to give him. I think, like, do I give him the invisible fruit? Do I give him the door fruit? No, I'd give him fruit that would actually make his hands very useful weapons, but him not need to use his hands in actual combat. But also, what will give his legs abilities that would make them probably the deadliest things you'd ever see in the Straw Hat crew. Sanji has the Bomu Bomu no Mi, which explosive everything. It's not spit, whatever comes out of Sanji's legs, or comes out of whatever between his legs. You see, everything about him is explosive. So yeah, it's hard to the point where you can turn those into weapons that hit you and explode. That's how he fights women. The hard eyes just shoot right off him and blow up right in the woman's face. If she's an enemy, he does that, but yeah. He goes to attack his bursting love. This is one excuse to actually attack women. He doesn't also let the attack hit them, but he lets it get close. But yeah. So I gotta go over like this. That Nami, Usopp, and Sanji got their fruit. Nami honestly was doing her first mission for Arlong, and she was like 10 years old. She actually was doing really good. So she got a Delver and took a bite out of it. She was being starved. She took a bite out of the fruit. She didn't really care about the taste, but she just sneezed and immediately blew off half the ship. She just had that much control over it. Started learning how devil fruits work or how this devil fruit worked with her village helping her. Eventually, by the time she was a matter of just months, she used the fruit pretty well for just what her body could handle, and actually was able to beat most of Arlong's crew at 10 years old. So, yeah. And then, she also start learning how to basically make herself intangible. She wasn't doing too good on it, so she made an ability basically where she can basically turn intangible a second before you hit her. That's honestly just her reaction speed. Kind of like how Kiji did her Whitebeard. Then Usopp honestly just found his fruit on a boat. Like, he's like, oh, this fruit looks nice, I'll buy it. And honestly just like a bundle of exotic fruits. That's all it was. The person knows a devil fruit, and Usopp just bit it, and he was like 7 years old. So, yeah. So, Nami's had her fruit for 8 years. Usopp's had his fruit for 7 years. And then Sanji, when he was started with Zeph, he bit into his fruit, honestly, because he found it growing. And he kind of just bit into it. And, yeah. And he's had that fruit since he basically, like, on the day that he could have tried to rob Zeph on the fruit growing, just took a bite out of it immediately. And then, he eventually had, I think at this point he was, 13 years old. So, yeah. So he's had his fruit for 6 years. Yeah. Nami 8, Usopp 7, and then Nami and Usopp both got the fruits when they were 10, but Nami's a year older than Usopp. So 7, Nami 8, Usopp 7, Sanji 6. I didn't even notice that till just now. Frankie got his fruit when he was hit by the train on the island. It was literally just growing on the island of junk. Frankie took a bite out of the fruit once his body was better, and immediately he had an iron jaw. This confused him because his jaw was literally made of iron. Why would he immediately kind of just be realizing he eat everything, and that would actually solve his starvation? Because with stomach aches, he solves it. But eventually, after he would realize he can just spit out all this stuff and create clean metal, new kinds of metal. Frankie made Frankie metal, but keep in mind how much money. Let's basically just Wapol metal, the thing that the Frankie Shogun's made out of. Wapol metal made Wapol basically one of the wealthiest men you can imagine in the matter of, I think, 2.5 years, maybe 3 years at the most. And this is after Luffy punched him into the West Blue. So yeah, he had enough money to basically remake a whole kingdom, marry Miss Universe, which she's not Nami and Robin look better than her, and they're some random pirates. She's not Miss Universe. She's like Miss West Blue. No, not Miss Universe, Miss West Blue. That's all she is. But yeah. So yeah, no matter of 2.5 years, Wapol had that much money. So Frankie's 15 and he's 34 when we meet him. He has 19 years to become one of the richest men you'd ever meet. And he did just that. Frankie's one of the richest men in the world by the time the Strats meet him. The point where even Galley Law is he didn't resort to life of crime. Man's ballin'. So Frankie Man Metal makes up the majority of his body that was originally cybernetic. He looks pretty much the same, but a lot of the cybernetics are made of Wapol metal, but also a bit more handy cybernetics too. And he's the CEO of Galley Law, with his right-hand man being Iceberg. And he also if you guys don't know what the fruit he has the Baku Baku no Mi, which is Wapol's fruit. He can eat and merge items, even people. But if Frankie eats someone with a devil fruit, his body immediately spits them back out. So, yeah. It's kind of one of his only weaknesses. If he eats someone with a devil fruit, he gets spat right back out. Also, one thing I'm going to give him is that basically poison has little to no effect on him. The fact that he's a cyborg, but also the fact that his body is honestly just used to doing anything it can that goes into his mouth. But yeah. Jinbei doesn't get a devil fruit, he's a fishman. Just honestly the simplicity, Jinbei isn't getting a fishman, so not every shark gets a devil fruit, but the main ones we love the most get a devil fruit. But yeah. But Luffy, Robin, Chopper, and Brook have the same fruits. Zoro also doesn't have a fruit, but his sword does. So, yeah. So, yeah. So, the story. Or, actually, the bounties, before we get into the story. Luffy doesn't have a bounty. Zoro, 15 million berry bounty. He's actually a really competent fighter to the point where him and Wano have a mental link where he can control every single one of Wano's abilities. Nami, she has a 25 million berry bounty. She's basically known as the Witch of the East. She's a 25 million berry bounty. In fact, that she sets Arlong's whole crew by herself at 10 years old. So, yeah. Robin has 75 million berry bounty still, not much different. And Frankie actually has a 40 million berry bounty. The fact that Marines had basically, only 8 Marines had him back out, and basically this Marine was distraught and terrified of things he saw inside Frankie. This fact he assaulted a world government official, 40 million berry bounty. And Brooks also his original inactive 33 million berry bounty. It said inactive, so yeah. But yeah, now Luffy how he meets Zoro. First, he meets Zoro by Zoro actually is currently running Shelltown. When Luffy got there with Kobe, because nothing else is different in Luffy's past. So he's there with Kobe, and Zoro he actually when Wolf help as Wolf, Zoro immediately held out Wado, and Wado's just kind of the blade turned into Nue and ate the wolf, and then chatted out. And it's just a pile of flames. Yeah, that's one of Zoro's favorite abilities that it does. It's because it's very simple and fast. But he also doesn't like it at the same time because it's too easy. The main reason he likes it is the main reason he doesn't like it at the same time. But then suddenly, he's shot at by Helmeppo. But Zoro immediately just blocked the bullet with water, and then the sword kind of spit the bullet back out, hitting Helmeppo right in the shoulder. Bro says if they don't get eaten, they don't help him, and then immediately no one else helps Helmeppo. So with this, Helmeppo eventually, Zoro can just hold a whole situation here from the villagers. He immediately just beats down Morgan and Helmeppo, and he just tells them he's not here for them. They should hold them out there. And he asks what the punishment he was going to be given if he did beat them all up, or failed to beat them all up, and they tell him what the punishment was. Starve him and dehydrate him for 10 days, and if he lives, they'll let him go. If he's too near death to be let go, they'll shoot him down executioner style. So yeah, or they'll execute him basically shooting squad. So Zoro tells them to do that to Helmeppo and Morgan, and they gladly do so. If he arrived, Zoro could tell that Luffy's a bit different because basically everyone was nice to Luffy. But Luffy heard about Zoro to basically be on his crew, and Zoro jumped down saying, "Should some nobody pirate be talking to the basically the pirate hunter?" And Luffy says, "Well, I'm not nobody. Well, I am, but I'm planning to be someone." He says, "Aren't we all?" Before he tries to cut down Luffy to appear behind him. He says, "Oh, you're fast." Luffy and Zoro begin fighting. As they fight, Zoro kind of thought of this. If he beats me, I may just join his crew. If he can beat me in Nue, this man's a monster. Now, the fight lasts for roughly around 5 hours, and Luffy's panting, covered in sweat, and he's barely scratched. And Zoro's covered in blood and bruises. As a lot of Nue's abilities are fire-based, or, in this case, storm-based. Luffy's basically a tank. There's little to no brains in it unless someone is fueling it. Someone has to be like, Luffy, do this. Tank, do this. Like, Luffy, do this. Or in tank's case, someone has to be piloting the tank to give it all the brains a tank would usually need to operate. So, Luffy's basically just a tank to the point where wind isn't phasing him. Lightning has no effect on him. He actually learned this early because of Zoro's Nue turning into a storm cloud. And Zoro controlling a storm cloud. This, Luffy's annoyed that most of his clothes are burned off. But Zoro can't really outspeed Luffy. So, yeah. Zoro's kind of struggling to outspeed Luffy, actually. Even when he was on gear, he was actually able to somewhat dodge it and kick him right in the gut. So Luffy had beaten Zoro. It was a 5-hour long fight. So yeah, now with this, Zoro tells them to do whatever they want to help on Morgan. And they were just going to put in a cell, and then Garp arrived, and then, Kobe is joining the Marine, Helmeppo, and is forced to enlist, unless he doesn't want to die. And Morgan's going to die, because he killed a few Marines under his control. So, yeah. Next up is basically just on Orangetown. Nami currently has her own ship, but she's not really a pirate. She just sails around in her own ship. But she beats up basically most of Buggy. She's able to push back Buggy's whole crew besides Buggy. But eventually Luffy had arrived. Instantly Buggy's about to stab Nami right in the side of the head. She doesn't see it coming. Before she busts the knife is there, then she hears someone just say, "Wow, that's close." And then she sees Luffy right behind her holding the knife, then throwing it right back at Buggy. Originally she thought Luffy tried to stab her, until she realized that was one of Buggy's knives. So then she didn't realize that Buggy was just about to stab her. Luffy fights alongside her to beat up most of Buggy's crew. By the time Zoro arrived, all Buggy's crew was defeated, even Kabaji, Moji, and Richie. Then he asked Luffy who he was, and he says, I'm Luffy, Captain of the Straw Hat Pirates. And then he looks at Zoro saying, isn't he your captain? He's the one with the bounty. He says, me and him fought, and I beat him, so he joined my crew. And the way this crew would work, basically, all the guys no one's weaker than someone else. Honestly, just how useful they are in terms of battle. Honestly, no one's weaker than anyone else, but maybe being a tad bit weaker than Luffy. But other than that, they're all rivals. You know what it is? The crew is basically the Rock's crew. The strongest one is the captain, but everyone else is just rivals. The thing is that they function as an actual crew, not as a bunch of idiots who are just strong and fighting each other 24/7. They're a functional crew, they like each other, and they work together. So that's how they work. So yeah. No captain, well, there's a captain, but there's no vice captain. There's a cook, but Zoro's also a decent cook. So Sanji and Zoro are kind of rivals in every little thing. So yeah. But yeah, so we can just now go on to, I would say, I guess that this, and Nami does actually want to fight Luffy herself, is she just considers Zoro her only rival in the East Blue. And he's a pirate hunter, he's a bounty hunter, that's why his bounties are rising up too much. She has a marine bounty, Zoro has a Coast Guard bounty. That's the difference in the two. But then she starts with Luffy, realizing that she's pushing through her windstorm pretty easily. She's actually able to create a small storm cloud that hit Luffy lightning bolt full on. But he already, from experience with Zoro, already knew this wouldn't affect him, so he put his hand out and just punched away the lightning bolt. And this just shocked her. But he then dashed full speed ahead. That's what Nami can even react to, picking up Nami and slamming on the ground. As Nami is used to taking hits, she trains pretty roughly herself. She's used to this stuff. But with this, she realized that Luffy's stronger than her. I said Luffy's more than worthy of a 25 million berry bounty. So yeah. She estimates that Luffy's bounty could be 30 million, probably even higher than that. And she just actually declared Luffy the strongest pirate in the East Blue. Which she is. So yeah. Next up will be Syrup Village. They arrive there, and just already saw them coming, and kind of zoomed in on them, and they were just training, having fun on their ship. They don't have a Jolly Roger, so it doesn't think they're pirates. Plus, they kind of just seem like idiots just having fun on their boat, so, yeah. Eventually, they get to the island, and, well, Usopp doesn't just introduce himself as Usopp, he's kind of just the protector of the island. Usopp currently has a few scars on his arms, even one on his face, but also his body looks a bit more toned, with a bit of facial hair. As this one, well, Kuro had heard that there's no fruit on the island, as he actually tries to kill Usopp. With up to 60-degree vision, well, trained for that already. Spun around punching Kuro right in the face faster than Kuro could even react. Kuro and Usopp kind of fought in the woods, but Kuro couldn't really get advantage on Usopp. As Usopp could kind of see Kuro coming with his devil fruit. But Kuro getting close was a bit of a struggle, that's why he has a scar on his face. But he's actually able to grab Kuro by the neck when he did that and just kind of strangle him. Kuro wasn't killed, but he was choked out, and Usopp kind of tells he got all these scars from Kuro while he's just hanging out in the woods. And the 3 kids back it up. That Kuro's actually under arrest currently. Until, well, the Marine believes the village that Kuro's there, so he's going to just held in prison. While they're there, well, they do hear about Kuro's whole thing, and Zoro actually asks Usopp, should he execute Kuro? And Usopp's like, he's not doing anything here, he's kind of just wasting all our food and water. So it's like, do whatever you want to him. They actually leave Zoro down in prison, and Zoro cuts off Kuro's head, so, yeah. Zoro executed Kuro here, because Usopp had Kuro in captivity for years, for around 2 years, actually. Because Usopp's Elfer is a bit more versatile than Kuro's ability, he beat him. But yeah. But they kind of spend time hanging out, and Usopp just realized that they're all devil fruit users. Luffy stretches. There's Wano. Wano is basically just a flaming bird flying animal thing. He doesn't know what it is. He can't tell what it is either. But yeah. So they also seem to be pretty cool too. As he actually asked who the captain is, and he said, well, if you beat me in a fight, you. Luffy got his little thing where he does realize that everyone in the crew is really close in power. Well, not everyone. Zoro and Nami were really close in power. Now that Luffy and Usopp fight, and Usopp clearly realizes that Luffy's felt way faster than Kuro's, he's picked up and slammed on the ground once, and that knocked him out. How much strength Luffy had. He's faster, stronger, and seems to have a higher battle IQ than Kuro does, shockingly. So honestly, just as he fights Zoro and Nami, or not fights, he trains with them 24/7. Zoro, Nami training, he strictly believe in training. So, yeah. Luffy hasn't even trained with him like 3 years, so he doesn't really train as often as he does, or as he should, but, yeah. So he's getting back in the habit of training 24/7. But he had beaten Usopp usually trains with a slingshot and throwing knives, usually. This isn't really good him giving Usopp his throwing knives, because that's kind of like his weakness. His weakness is up close, and knives are good for up close. And these aren't even throwing knives, they're just daggers they can throw decently far, so, yeah. But yeah, now we should go on to the next arc, being, I guess, the Baratier. Well, they're there. Well, this also have Jolly Roger, and Usopp did how the strats function. No matter whose ship it is, if you beat Luffy in a fight, you're the captain. So yeah, one thing is that you can't kick any members off the crew at all. At the best, you can take their place, and that's about it, or the place if you want it. Your function, like I said, is very different than the regular pirate crew. It kind of functions more like the Rocks crew. If you beat someone, you can take their position, or well, you can take the position, or you get bragging rights. That's how it is. And with how hard battles can be, it will not be a fight to the death, but it can be a fight to the near death. The crew can settle those rules for battles. But yeah. Now with this, Sanji. So, Sanji, everything goes pretty similar in canon, actually, until Krieg had announced that he wants to take over the Brassier for himself. Sanji knelt down, Krieg looked up, saying, "What are you going to do about it, you brat?" He said over Sanji, with Sanji to flick him right in the stomach, full force. Now, Krieg realized Sanji didn't even hit him, until he just felt a giant, right? Everyone heard like a loud boom as Krieg was sent flying. Krieg was sent crashing to his boat, to his stomach, seeing basically a giant hole blasted clean through him. So Sanji then says, "All you fucking pirates off my damn ship." With that, immediately, Luffy just smirked. This is by Sanji, so Usopp ready slingshot, and Zoro can spark all his blades on fire. As Nami just kind of being levitating, as Zoro and Nami can fly. Zoro turns Wano into a complete storm cloud, and Nami just levitates. Sanji actually realized these guys were Devil Fruit users earlier because Luffy stretching his head around to poke Sanji or talk to Sanji. Then Usopp just said that they're all Devil Fruit users. So yeah. And they're just talking like most of the time until Krieg burst in. And Gin even heard that all Devil Fruit users. Like, don't Krieg try to say he's taking over. Gin already knew his crew would lose. He heard all their abilities and everything. He doesn't know how to counter their abilities. Unless the captain just says, no matter what, they have to beat him in a fight so that they can become captain. And the two most useful fruits here, three most useful fruits, haven't beaten him in a fight yet. So yeah. Yeah. They'll jump down. Pearl will actually attack Luffy first, and Luffy has the dumb one. But basically the shield on Pearl's head, Luffy picked him up by that and just slammed him on the ground as hard as he can. But the way he pulled it, the shield kind of stretched, and when Pearl hit his head there, Pearl just got a concussion, got pet, and just passed out. Sanji kind of just uses explosive kicks around everyone, and now see what Sanji's fruit actually does. I thought it was honestly a really strong flick. That's not what they thought it was. This is Sanji's attack that he uses to protect his hands from anything else. Kind of just calls it basically a delay, like kind of just calls it delay bomb, but yeah. What it does is kind of just sends out like a shockwave, but then, well, essentially flying back, then explodes in the middle of that shockwave, or in the middle of you flying back. You know, all it is him flicking kind of sweat on you, and then it'll sweat kind of get invisible explosions from his hand, not a big one. It's enough to do flying, but it's not enough to do damage. And the sweat just explodes. Kind of just two controlled explosions, but one's barely even noticeable. All you feel is like a very strong impacts on you flying, but yeah. The explosions was what kills you. So yeah, that's really just it. The whole Straw crew beats up basically most of Krieg's crew except Gin, and because Gin's a Delver user, we're gonna be leaving Gin here. So yeah. Sorry, Gin, no Delver user, you can't come. But with this, they leave, try to go to Kashi Village. Honestly, just so Nami can first Zoro needs to be patched up, and no one here's a doctor. So actually Zoro's patched up there for actually hours on end, to the point where the whole 3-day party is still happening, but Zoro isn't there for like 2 of the days. He's patched up properly. They don't need to fight all on crew. He's there immediately. They're only there to get Zoro medical care from fighting Mihawk. Also, Mihawk did realize that Zoro took more pride in his swordsmanship, and kind of took pride in the swordsmanship combined with Delphi abilities, not sheer Delphi abilities. He told Zoro that if Zoro only relied on Delphi abilities, he would have called Zoro basically just a coward who doesn't deserve to wield a sword, but Zoro seems actually to understand the contents of using a sword, but also possessing a Delphi at the same time. That just calls Zoro a smart sword user. So Mihawk acknowledges Zoro as a sword user, even if he has a Delphi backing him up. Even when Zoro was knocked out, New Egg just came to life and protected Zoro until Mihawk almost killed it, but Luffy stopping Mihawk by kicking Yoru. Mihawk didn't lose Yoru by any means, but still Luffy kicked it pretty hard, which actually shook Mihawk's arms, so he'd never kill anything with an unsteady hand. So, yeah. You also see the Straw Hat immediately just left saying, have fun on your adventure, and protect this man with your life. But that's kind of just what happened. They leave, and now, well, they meet Smoker. Luffy's current bounty, currently, is 40 million, a bit higher than canon, as he's the captain of the crew. Little body kind of stuck around to hear about the crews, so you hear the users wanted to hear everything. So we kind of heard that if you beat Luffy in a fight, you're the captain. But no one has beaten Luffy even yet. Even Sanji and Luffy fought, and Sanji couldn't beat Luffy. Sanji's a lot faster than Kanan because his explosion feeling his speed. Luffy's also a bit stronger physically as he trains all the time. When Sanji tried to block something using explosion, Luffy just punched through the explosion and nailed Sanji right in the arm, sending him flying off the boat into the water. Then Luffy grabbed him out of the water, body slammed him, and that kind of ended that little session. You just how hard Luffy slammed him. He almost sent flying into the water again, and Sanji's already finding it hard to use explosions because he's drenched in water. So Luffy neutralized his abilities, or not neutralize them, weakened them by a lot, or dampened them, technically, and then beat up Sanji. So yeah, Sanji, everyone has lost to Luffy. So his bounty is 40 million. He wouldn't be at 30 million because according to Nami, he wasn't really even a fight. He just pushed through everything that she threw at him. And Zoro says that, well, it was a hard fight for him, but Luffy's the majority of his attacks, or can outspeed the majority of his attacks. Which puts Luffy's reaction speed at lightning speed, faster than sound, actually. And his durability, thinking of lightning bolts. So, they calculate how much force a lightning bolt has, and then put that on Luffy. He's not just immune to lightning. The force of one would not affect him, even if he wasn't. Or it would burn him and scorch him, but he wouldn't be knocked to the ground. He'd still be standing and fighting. And Chapter says that Luffy can exploit his one weakness, and that's about it. So, yeah. But now we should go on to, I would say, Luffy and the Threats versus Smoker. First off, Sanji just fights Smoker, and like Smoker and Sanji fight to the standstill. And then Zoro kind of just sparks Shigi by actually kind of just use a flaming sword and just kind of block over attacks. And Zoro says that he isn't just fighting her right now. She's not strong enough, according to Niue. That's what who Niue is, and then Zoro just says that his flaming sword is a devil fruit. And then just realizes that it kind of just transforms to Niue, telling him, she says, well, Niue and me have a mental link, and then, well, Niue just says that your attacks aren't strong enough to actually even damage me too much, so the fight's over. And she realizes that the sword is telling her that she's weak. The sword is telling him that she's weak. She immediately kind of fell to her knees, realizing the sword thinks she's weak, not Zoro. So she immediately quit fighting, and then told Smoker why she quit fighting. So yeah. Now with this, Zoro still got his two swords, as his two other ones are broken by Mihawk. Now with this, they head over Reverse Mountain. They head over. Well, they basically end up meeting Laboon still, but also Luffy just had like Zoro and Nami with him in the air and just fly over Laboon. So if you can beat Luffy in a fight, you can overrule anyone who's like, if you don't want to be captain, you can beat Luffy in a fight, overrule his orders or rules, or you can just become captain and destroy all of his rules. That's what you can do if you beat Luffy. There's no positions. It's just recommended what you should do. That is it. But yeah. But first we'll see a peek. Yep. Zoro and Nami's experience, with how much more experience in combat they have, especially Sanji too. They immediately just say we should leave. And Luffy just said, why? And Nami's like, that was a bounty hunter. She points to her saying, yeah, she tried to kill me one time. And Zoro says, I've fought a majority of these people here. And Sanji says, I think one of them was a customer last week. And maybe there was the bounty hunters. But yeah. But going forward with the bounties besides Luffy. Luffy, 40 million. Zoro, 25 million. Nami, 25 million. Usopp, 12 million. Sanji, 30 million. There's something about the fact that they beat the whole Marine force on Logtown by themselves. Like, Usopp's like, oh, Deji Masterson, no biggie. And he just hit a slingshot and shot his bullet right out of the air and hit him right in the nose with it. Like ooh, lead ball. Straight through your bullet, hit you right in the face. Break your nose, and then knock you out. Boom, that's how it handled, and Usopp could snipe anyone out of the air. So yeah, Usopp has more confident sniping ability because he can see basically any target he wants to. Let's say fucking 100 miles away out of a 60-mile radius. If you're farther than 60 miles away, you have some form of observation hockey so you're 60 miles away and can still beat the fuck out of Usopp from that distance. You have to be a devil fruit user. But yeah, or observation hockey or devil fruit user, one of the two. But yeah. And then we should go on to basically I would say, what was it? They all beat everyone up on Ski because they have a lot more experience. Two of them have a lot more experience in fighting, and Sanji is also just used to beating up people because he can. So yeah, so they recognize some people here are bounty hunters, and eventually everyone realized that they were outed, so they fight the Straw Hats. But Sanji immediately says they'll handle all this by himself. Sanji put his leg in the air, and then just says concussion bomb. Then kicks around full force. This explosion comes from the ground, biting off basically everyone. But from the smoke, Niue would jump through, and we could kill everyone in flames, and then begin roasting everyone alive until they all usually just yell they submit. When that when that happened, basically Niue extinguished the flames, and well, they kind of outed who they work for and everything. And then Vivi would join them still. So yeah. But yeah, pause. Alright, where was I? What was I? This rides with more combat, recognized few people there as bounty hunters, so kind of Sanji's use of concussion blast blew away most people. Vivi travels with them now, and then they arrive on Whiskey Peak. On Whiskey Peak, honestly, I don't see much difference. Just when it came down to Mr. 3, Zoro immediately just said, "Oh, wax, huh?" This one Zoro actually asked, "Doesn't fire melt wax?" Nami nodded, and Zoro says, "Good." Immediately, Niue burst into flames, or water burst into flames, and then kind of manifested in Niue, which spread around, burning basically all bits of wax without harming the Straw Hats. Immediately with Niue basically being a giant flaming animal, it sniffed out Mr. 3 and immediately ate him, shot him out, and he's covered in flames and flaming fecal matter. So, yeah. Mr. 3 just said that he quits and immediately just took off those clothes that were burned off and just sat by a tree, just waiting for them to leave. So we'll make a pin on Luffy. But with his fast reaction speed and also just a bit of danger sense, the fact that Zoro, Sanji, and Nami are all very sneaky fighters. This wasn't sneaky, he's more or less complicated, but that's about it. But Luffy immediately jumped over Miss Golden Week and put her in a chokehold, and just choked her out. So, yeah. Miss Golden Week is like 14 here, and Luffy's 17. Some almost near-grown man tricking out some middle schooler. But yeah. And next up would be Drum Island, which isn't much different. Literally just a Wapol isn't a threat. Wasn't this one? Chopper should train by Dalton, because Chopper almost killed all of Wapol's guards. Like, he almost killed all of them because they were so easy to beat. One, Wapol has his brother's Mushiru's fruit in this one. His brother is basically from the Drum Island movie. It's a really good movie, emotional, love it. But Mushiru's kind of a Philly character. Mushiru just has a mushroom fruit, hence his name, Mushiru. But yeah, pause. You just heard that I got to add, but my TV, but yeah. Yeah, so Chopper isn't trained by Dalton because he wiped out most of the Gaul or guard that Wapol had. Just Dalton was the only one to beat Chopper, and Chopper still almost won. Yeah, muscle Dalton outsped him. Basically just out everything Dalton besides battle IQ, and Dalton rammed Chopper in the side with one of his horns. But yeah, also there's so many guns to count, so Chopper eventually had retreated. But Dalton, once he quit being one of Wapol's guards, he trained Chopper in basically every bit of fighting he had. Instead of arm point, Chopper has muscle point. Muscle point is basically the form that he would use to train with Dalton. Muscle point looks a lot like his hybrid form, which is like the one that's him, like his human body, but like the whole fur around his neck thing. That's like let me find the thing is it's called a ruff. I forgot that. Like immediately I paused, like, oh, it's called a ruff. Yep, the thing that has like Chopper has like a ruff made of fur around him. So yeah, the thing the main form he uses if he's not small or in Monster Point. Like, if he's not in Monster Point or Chibi Chopper, the big muscle form is like as tall as Frankie is. So yeah, form looks just like that, but instead this one is basically just hooked up on muscles. And the thing is, it does somewhat reduce his speed, but his muscle strength is basically just multiplied by like times 10. So yeah, like take the strength of like a reindeer and a bull and put them all in one. But then also add on to that bull being like 30 feet tall. So Chopper just has a lot of muscle in this form, a lot less speed, but he's still decently fast. Like, he's not as fast as a regular reindeer is, instead of just being faster than usual. But yeah, I'd say about as fast as like a young reindeer instead of an adult one. But still, this form he was taught wrestling, sumo wrestling, and Korean wrestling, like Greco-Roman, and then sumo, and then sumo. So this form basically Chopper just outmuscles everyone and everything. So yeah, but yeah, all this arc is not much different. Just Chopper isn't afraid of Luffy or Sanji. He just jumps into his like whole monster muscle point. Luffy and Sanji weren't intimidated one bit. Sanji's honestly just almost hit him with an explosion, saying you're not scary for a devil fruit user. And then Luffy invited Chopper onto his ship. Chopper also being a bit more, I guess, how to say this? He's a bit more confident in who he is. Doesn't view himself as a monster much either. He actually just says that he doesn't think he wants to until Wapol's defeated. And Luffy just says, sure, why not? So yeah. But yeah. Where else? Where else can we go? Yeah, we could just go on now to Alabasta, which honestly isn't much of a hard arc. Chopper's on a boat now. He actually was the only one that uses a martial art besides maybe Zoro and Sanji. So he kind of teaches Luffy basically just basic like hand-to-hand combat. So yeah, like Luffy didn't need that, but still it was very helpful in his fighting style. But Chopper will also fight Luffy, as also starts to say, oh yeah, it's kind of like ritual to fight Luffy at least like just kind of fight Luffy at least once a month. So yeah, because that's like a new Luffy episode. Everyone fight once a month, and I'll determine if you guys have grown enough to actually give me competition. Luffy and Chopper fight, and Luffy can actually outmuscle Chopper no matter what form he used. So yeah, Luffy can outspeed and outmuscle him, but Chopper still had better technique. But one thing that made Chopper lose is Luffy headbutted him so hard that Chopper's skull almost cracked open. So yeah, Chopper not wanting to fight anymore because his head's bleeding just as he quits. But yeah, he doesn't want to damage that wondrous brain of his. But yeah, now this Chopper also ends up sharing Rumble Balls on Niue, which makes Niue just generate more flames and grow a bit bigger. So yeah, Zoro has a few Rumble Balls with him. So yeah, but Alabasta's not really much of an arc. It's honestly just more of a one-sided attack. Like literally no one here is a challenge for the Straw Hat crew. Maybe Luffy's first started Crocodile, Luffy doesn't get stabbed, but still Crocodile landed a few good slashes on him. Even Crocodile still struggled to actually defeat Nami as she blew away all of his attacks if they got too close to her or the crew or Luffy. So yeah. But still Crocodile was defeated by Luffy the second time, because the first time they kind of just retreated because Nami was a bit better fighter, but also she kind of told Luffy that a good counter to him could probably be water, as Pell even mentioned that too. Well, she suggested it, and Pell strengthened that thing, said Robin, but he didn't need to give Luffy an antidote. He wasn't poisoned, he was just really scratched up. But yeah, now Luffy and Pell basically fighting in Crocodile a second time, but Luffy just threw a giant jug of water on him. Which probably I think the fight goes on very similar to canon, because Luffy isn't as jacked up, but it's just a lot faster and physically stronger. So yeah. Now with this, we'll do Zoro versus Mr. 1. And Mr. 1's like, what do you do? Cut through steel? Zoro says, well, even if I can't, I can burn through it. So confuse Mr. 1 until all the blades burst into flames with the help of, Wano using Niue abilities. Then the flames begin burning so hard that they turn blue. Then Zoro clashed Mr. 1, and actually burned through one of his blades and then slashed his arm almost completely off. Then kicked Mr. 1 in the chest so hard that he just all the wind knocked out of him and just passed out. Nami versus Miss Doublefinger just used a strong gust of wind to blow her straight to the air and then through multiple buildings. saying, and that ends that. She turned around and walked away. Now Usopp versus Mr. 4. One of the baseballs thrown at him, he just caught it and threw it back at a certain spot, and it nailed Mr. 4 so hard that it knocked him out. He did that with catching one baseball and throwing it back even harder. So, yeah. It shows how much strength Usopp has. Mr. 4 isn't really too special in terms of brute strength, honestly. So, yeah. Versus Mr. 2. Well, Mr. 2 who basically tried to connect with Sanji's, tried to kick Sanji, Sanji doesn't block the kick. But he just grabbed his foot and almost blew completely off and kicked him in the face or they sent flying to another building. So, yeah. Sanji just ended that fight intensely quickly. Sanji has our weapons, but he doesn't really use them in a fight unless, it's convenient. So, yeah. Then after this, we'll probably go on to, Chopper versus Miss Merry Christmas. She just jumped in his reindeer form and just ran at her so fast that she couldn't dodge and just hit her so hard that she wasn't flying miles away. She was too fast to catch and he just hit her. Just rammed her once and she's down. This ends most of the story now, or for Alabasta, that ends most of the story. We'll be by the end of this arc, 75 million. Zoro, 30 million. Nami, 30 million. Usopp, 20 million. Sanji, 30 million. Chopper, 0. Robin, the crew, 75 million. So, yeah. Luffy has a higher bounty. In fact, he started off with a higher bounty. So, yeah. Also, still he has a new crew member. But Chopper's a bit more notable as he's a bit more involved in fighting. So, yeah. But Jaya, Bellamy does attack Luffy still. But Nami doesn't tell Luffy not to cause trouble. If he loses a fight, it should be interesting for him, because they're all... And I don't think there's such a battle. A battle decides how the crew would go, how the crew functions. So if Luffy were to lose to Bellamy's the new owner of the Straw Hat Pirates, because how it works, they wouldn't They wouldn't disband unless Bellamy wanted them to, or they would disband, but they do it in secret. So, yeah. But Luffy Nami doesn't tell Luffy not to trouble. She tells Luffy, "Don't lose a fight if you get like if you get in a gunfight, don't lose." So Bellamy tried to basically slam Luffy's head through a table. Luffy actually let it happen, but basically just kind of actually wasn't moving at all. Like Bellamy coming through a table, looked at Luffy. Luffy was kind of just crouched down. Where everyone realized that Luffy was letting Bellamy do this was just because Bellamy wasn't strong enough to knock him off his feet. He was just proving a fact that Bellamy couldn't knock him off his feet. He was even laughing. Zoro's even laughing at Bellamy, and Bellamy's whole crew's like, "What's so funny?" Zoro's like, "He's still on his feet. You can't knock him off his feet. Even I can do that, and I'm his right hand man. How can some random higher bound body than me not do it?" Which just immediately just pissed off Bellamy. So he tried to kick out Luffy's feet, and he just couldn't. When we see Bellamy turns Luffy to a fight outside, and Luffy just says, "Sure, if you challenge me, why not?" They're outside, but then Bellamy basically did the whole spring hopper thing. Starts watching this. Luffy just grabbed Bellamy by the face, and then just threw him to the side, saying, "This isn't worth a fight. I'm just going to be the bigger man and spare you, but your pride is shattered." It doesn't say that your pride is shattered. It says, "I'll be the bigger man and let you keep your body intact." But yeah, the closer thing, Luffy wasn't even bleeding, just a bit bruised up. That's about it. But then Luffy had an idea. This one he does to meet Teach and everything, but he goes and private in the forest, and he's practicing coiling his body. And he actually wants to find new ways to beat his crew. He wants to beat his crew up. It's something that they have to do. Can be in developing Bellamy's string hopper, but in a bit more effective way. Also, just so he doesn't copy Bellamy, he just calls this basically spring gears. He travels at the same speed as Gear Second, actually even faster than that. Roughly almost as fast as a Nell is. Probably even faster than that, actually. Or just as fast as a Nell. Also, he has a form basically where he just holds his arms up, then basically just functions as like a King Kong gun, just not as much strength or hockey. So, yeah. He also practices accuracy in this form, as he is kind of out of control for a bit. So, yeah. So, for most of the dry arc, he's in the woods training until they have to head to the Sky Islands. So, yeah. They arrive up there, and then, so everything goes pretty much similar, until Luffy encountered a Nell. Well, first, actually, until Zoro encountered a Nell, or Sanji, actually. The Straw Hat crew in general, Nami, Sanji, and Nell when they first encounter him. Nami, Sanji, and Usopp when they encounter Nell. Yeah, when Nell arrived trying to basically use lightning abilities, immediately, when Nell arrived trying to use lightning abilities, Nami just did a giant gust of wind that surrounded a Nell and threw him through the air. They realized that Nami is basically another person like him who can use her Devil Fruit, but also become passive. And this time, Nami actually learned the ability to become passive, as lightning seemed to have no effect on her, as the wind kind of just tanked it. But yeah, this fight, honestly, is pretty much a battle of equals. So eventually Nami got the better of Nell's ability, realizing he doesn't know how weather functions. She's being more cautious. Or being cautious and anxious about fighting him. Well, she's just fighting. If she were to use someone with weather ability, she assumes that they know how to use weather properly. And Nell doesn't know jack shit about weather. He says good observation hockey, and that's about it. So Nami beat the brakes off of Nell. She did. She beat the brakes off him. And Nell's worth is a 500 million berry bounty, according to Oda. Nami's current bounty is, I believe, 30 million. And she still can't beat Luffy in a fight. So, yeah, they can just explain the worth bounties of the Straw Hat crew currently. So, yeah. Honestly, just because Nami, well, she could beat Luffy currently, she doesn't think she could. Plus, Luffy's still getting stronger actively. So, yeah. Well, she can't become intangible passively anymore. Not passively, but she doesn't know how to react and just make her body intangible at times. So, yeah. But still, Luffy had beat half of Nell's crew instead of just beating a Nell. He didn't have a fight with a Nell. But still, he's still training Spring or his coil ability. But yeah. Next up, Water 7. They are here in honestly one of the more advanced countries or islands. Frankie invites them on, and then talking to Frankie. Frankie does hear how their crew functions, this thing is a more interesting crew, but weird they can still function properly. Zoro's second in command would be him, as he's still the second strongest on the crew. No one learned about Nami's intangibility just yet, besides maybe Usopp and Sanji. But those two still can beat Zoro or Luffy in a fight. So, yeah. Zoro and Sanji are more or less stalemate. So they're more like Luffy's left and right hands. So, yeah. But still, we don't really go on now to, I guess Iceberg being shot and Frankie does blame Luffy, as him and Luffy do fight. Luffy fight. Eventually, Frankie thought he'd win this fight, as he's won a majority of the fights he's been in. Maybe against Tom or the Marines, he's lost because of just, well, I'm as a kid. But yeah, this one he actually beat Luffy beat Frankie actually pretty relatively easily. Frankie's not fast or strong. Frankie just has a new amount of new ability that Luffy can easily outspeed. His reaction speed is faster than lightning is, and well, with him acting faster than lightning, moving faster than lightning, and well, being able to punch harder than the majority of things in the story. Well, Frankie will lose this fight disrespectfully, as he's not even a fighter at this point. He just has a lot of abilities. Frankie's a bit weaker, but has a bit more usages. So yeah, Frankie losing. Luffy actually tells Frankie that he has to join his crew now. And yes, why Luffy says that's how his crew functions. Usually, a lot of his crewmates he's beaten in a fight, or a near fight kind of settled if they joined. Tells Frankie that if Frankie wants, they can have a rematch in a few days, and Frankie has time to train. Frankie actually says fine, and says he thinks he can prep and beat Luffy. Well, Luffy didn't even go off. He's just used his basic teachings from Chopper and Sanji. Sanji and Chopper use the better fit, martial arts fit for Luffy. So yeah, the shots all train together as a group. Plus they have a bigger ship, so there's a lot more room for group training. But yeah. So now we should go on to, I would say, the Enies Lobby arc. Frankie isn't taken captive, though, as Kaku does say that it's a lost cause to fight Frankie. Even Lucci agrees it's a lost cause to fight him, as they think it'd be too complicated of a battle to beat him. So yeah, Frankie agrees to go with them, and well, as they go, they take the much bigger and faster sea train. Frankie has this one in secret. In case, well, his original sea train is stolen, but no one knows he has it besides the iceberg. So yeah. So they set on the sea train, or go out in the sea train. All the Galley Laws with them, as Galley Law spans 10,000 members all across Paradise. Paradise is basically Red Line. Well, it's Reverse Mountain all the way to, I believe, Fishman Island. That's Paradise. So it's because it's not the New World. That's why it's called Paradise. It's not the New World. But yeah. So 10,000 members, tens of thousands of members all across Paradise, or workers all across Paradise. Which you can imagine how many are on Water 7. Because they have even more than 99,000 members. That's hundreds of thousands, or even millions. Because Frankie's one of the richest men in the world. So yeah, if I were to put Frankie's wealth in basically just a number, honestly, I'd probably put him at like maybe $700 trillion. That's what I'm willing to give him, $700 trillion. Because one, Del Tesoro held 1% of the world's wealth just because of his gold fruit. Frankie's smarter, a better businessman, and a bit more creative than Del Tesoro is. And he's had 15 years to sculpt his empire of Galilea, with an iceberg by his side, and they're two of the best shipwrights to ever exist in the story. Not in their side of the Grand Line, no, in the world. Imagine what they could do in terms of money. So, I'd say having Frankie was probably holding a good amount of the world's wealth himself, without handing any of it over to the government. The government worked extremely well. So, yeah. But now, on Enies Lobby, they arrive there a bit earlier. They arrive about a minute after the original sea train did. That's just how fast it is. And they completely slaughter CP9. Luffy barely even needed a gear second to defeat Lucci. Like, he just used his coil ability. Then when his coil punches it almost caved in Lucci's chest, which had him out of fight for a majority of it. So Lucci could barely fight just because of one of Luffy's attacks. So with this, Lucci lost to Luffy relatively in just a matter of seconds. Just maybe at the most 2 minutes. Which left Luffy and Frankie, who didn't really have any special opponent, that's Fukuro guy. Fukuro didn't really have provided challenge for Frankie. Frankie had a lot more abilities to use in a fight. So he beat Fukuro pretty easily. Now, Frankie actually being able to create a lot of his abilities. He has some abilities as his canonical post-time skip ability, just they're a bit toned down in terms of power, but they're the exact same usage and everything. They're just not as powerful because they don't have the same technology. But he's able to somewhat copy them. So, somewhat like a decent copy of the same potential ability, just not as powerful. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. Then we should go on to now, Luffy and Frankie being free. They just fight their hearts out. Because Frankie decides it is time for this supposed rematch. So, yeah, as they fight, eventually, it actually ends in Luffy still winning, even Frankie having a tad bit more abilities. Luffy won, but still barely. Frankie realized that the whole bet was if Luffy beat him again, Frankie had to join the crew. If Luffy lost, Frankie could have a majority of the stuff that they had, or well, Frankie wanted that he could, because Luffy wouldn't be in full control of what Frankie could do now. But all Frankie does is just get up saying, "Damn it! Now I'm a pirate." Luffy then says, "And we're two pirates, still in pretty good condition. Want to stop a Buster call?" And he says, "And why not?" Hop right back up immediately. And Usopp ending his fight relatively quickly with whoever he had to fight. Also, Sanji didn't really fight Caulifla, just turned around saying, "You really seem like they'd be annoying for my explosives." Nami walked by saying, "Yeah, probably." Caulifla sent out bubbles at Nami, and Nami just used a bunch of wind to kind of wound up, just gathered up all the water and the bubbles in the room, and immediately just compressed them and shoot them right at Caulifla's face, blowing her straight through Enies Lobby. So Nami ended that fight the moment she saw her. Then Zoro, when it came to Kaku, didn't even use like two swords. Just used one sword, and it wasn't even Wano. It just appeared right behind her, right behind Kaku. Just with his blade covered in flames still. That's what he first used most of the time, because it's a bit more useful. But he uses one attack, and it almost cut Kaku clean in half. So he called it Itoryu Asha's Rain, as it was just a majority of just dozens of just slashes, and then just one quick one that almost cut him in half. But yeah, Sanji would fight Jabra, but just spin around when hit him one time with such an explosive kick that almost killed him. So yeah, just one kick. He also unlocked Diablo Jambe with that kick, as well, so powerful it almost killed him. Just not one explosion, just one Diablo Jambe explosive infused kick. Now Chopper versus Kumidori. This fight goes pretty similar. It's just Chopper doesn't need Monster Point. He just needs to just outspeed Kumidori. That's all it is. But eventually didn't outspeed him. He actually relied on more or less just his durability, as he trusted it. Because when Kumidori was recharging, the moment he went to his full ability, first class hand around Kumidori's head, and crushing it completely. So Kumidori was almost passed out, and Chopper jumped over a counter, slamming Kumidori's head on it full force, cracking his head open and knocking him out. So they win that fight like that, or Chopper won that fight like that. But now with their fights ending relatively quicker, besides Chopper's, well, every fight is honestly much different. So yeah. And Luffy and Frankie and Usopp are outside right now, just ending the Buster calls as we speak, as they've already taken down three of the 6 ships that arrived. So when everyone else arrived, they fight. Zoro still ended up losing Shusui. In exchange, he cut off a majority of Captain Shu's arm, and then stabbed him right in the chest and killed him for destroying his sword. As he heard Wano yell in pain, like, "No, my brother!" And then Zoro got mad and then killed Shu. But yeah, so they kind of just defeat the Buster Call itself. And Robin didn't really beat anyone important. She stomped out Spandam. So yeah, she's trained for this. Like the moment Spandam began walking away, she just jumped over him and choked him out. That's all it was. At the end of this arc, Luffy's bounty 125 million. So Sanji are tied for 95 million. Nami 88 million. Usopp 75 million. Chopper 2,000 actually. He has a bit more respect for almost killing Kumidori, but a bit in worse fashion this time. Frankie 60 million. Robin 83 million. She beat up Spandam relatively easily, and he's the captain of a Cypher Pull of like the most strongest quote unquote Cypher Pull agency. But yeah, the arc honestly wasn't too long actually. Like the same hour they got there is the same hour they leave, or the same minute. Like this is the most time on Buster calls than their opponents was what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, but Frankie would join their ship, or join the crew. But first, he actually tells Iceberg that they should build them a ship. But then he has an idea. You can grab the best shipwrights that they have on Galley-La, which is actually the main cast of Galley-La minus CB9. And he eats them all and merges himself with him. And then they build a ship that's better than the Sunny by a long shot. And he doesn't know how important building is to their crew. Not building, training is to the crew. So there's a lot of training area just below deck, coated in steel, or the walls, the wood down there is coated has in steel inside of it. So they destroy the wall, it wouldn't matter. There's steel inside of it. But yeah, so the ship is a lot bigger. A lot bigger than the Sunny is, and will even looks a bit more impressive. Most of those routes, most of them have their own, not their own rooms. They have their kind of specified own areas. There's no room to sleep in there though. But yeah, now with this they leave, heading for their bark. But honestly, it isn't much of an important arc. So yeah, we came to Absalom. Usopp can kind of somewhat unlock some thermal vision now, so he can somewhat tap into it by just randomly. He kind of called out to Nami that there's someone inside the shower with her. He used wind to wrap up who it was, and Absalom yelled out in surprise at one point. But when Chopper just burst in, slamming straight into Absalom, and broke every bone in his body. She's too kind of told Usopp not to look, not Chopper. Chopper is only into animals, not her. So, yeah. Chopper broke every bone in Absalom's body, which kind of puts Absalom out of the fight. So yeah, all the zombies aren't really going to move at all, which removes a majority of the fights that we need to see. Not majority, but a lot of the fights we need to see. Then Perona, Usopp when he has to fight her and her zombies, you should like Assault Star ready, but also jump back and just rapid fire them off with Kabuto, hitting basically every single one of the zombies in the mouth directly in seconds. Then when it came to Kuma, him and Kuma just, well, not Kuma, but like Kuma C, the bear. Assuming just Kuma C fight, somebody's kind of like just punching him back harder and kind of tearing him apart as fabric. Which Perona's like, no, Kuma C. Usopp just jumped, grabbing Kuma C's mask, wrapping it around Perona's face, and just choking, kind of strangling her with it. On her face, her neck, and just strangles her with it. So, yeah. Usopp's still pretty negative, so her ghost still don't work on him. But yeah. But, yeah. So, yeah. But, that's all I can say about, what Usopp did to Perona, just strangled her. Then, we can go on to Dr. Hogback, who Chopper just bitch slapped through most of this, island. Like, Chopper was so pissed off, he just was in normal form and just brutalized him. Like, it's like, he started sumo wrestling and then just palm struck him to death. That's all he did. Luffy vs. Moria. Or isn't unleashed, but I should actually just go on it to Zoro vs. Ryuma. Zoro fights Ryuma in Nichoyu, showing off the greatest swordsman in the world, or the former greatest swordsman in the world, with the much respect he can, and beats him. Then Ryuma gives him Chusui. So yeah. But Oars isn't released with Luffy Shadow, it's released with Mori controlling it, and Luffy fighting it. Before Zoro's can even help, Luffy had used basically one King Kong gun. I think Oars ran the chest so hard that it blew a hole clean through Oars, and it was bigger than anyone had ever thought that Luffy could muster with that much force. And then, as basically Oars is falling down, Luffy's headwind gear through for the first time, and punched Oars so hard that he destroyed the upper half of his body. So, yeah. Like, leaving only the arms and the head intact, or the upper body, only the arms and the head. And Moria is just crushed completely. Luffy hit him in the chest where Moria was stationed, and Moria had already knocked out, and gear third was just overkill. So, yeah. So now with this, well, all the zombies that were stationary, because they weren't summoned, are just to get salted on, and then Lola's crew is safe. Perona got back up, right? Kuma had slapped her away, and she went to the same place. But then also had enough time to recover, so they're all at their full ability. Luffy's not in pain because he was never even hit once by basically anyone important. Like the best if Zoro took his pain, he'd be like, oh, did I actually get punched in the jaw? Ow. That's about it. That's all he'd get. He wouldn't get, if you die, you take this. No, you got punched in the jaw. So that's all he'd get. So yeah, Luffy doesn't really have much pain. At the best, Chopper took the most pain, and he'd basically like, oh, I got stabbed in the side. My bad. And that's about it. But yeah, so Kuma would fight the Strats, who work better in tandem as a group actually, because they always fight together and with each other. But they fight together and with each other all the time. And these Strats are actually doing a number on Kuma. Point where even Usopp is not even there. No, he doesn't think Usopp, so they can't see him. And one point where one of his eyes is completely taken out by Usopp. And with this, Sanji kind of kicked that onto his body, blowing off his arm completely. And then Zoro had used kind of just him and Nami combined, Nami's climate attack, and then Zoro's storm cloud, kind of just hit it with lightning bolt so hard that Luffy just ran right through it, and just kind of coiled around him to the point where he just kept kicking Kuma so hard that Kuma's body's denting around. With this, Kuma's defeated by the Strats actually, because they worked so well in tandem to the point where even Usopp had blinded him. So yeah, Kuma's blind in one eye now, and that one eye was actually his cybernetic eye that worked better than his real eyes. So, yeah. Plus a shrapnel hit him in his other eye, so it doesn't really matter. After this arc, Luffy has bounty 350 million, Zoro 220 million, Nami 160 million, Usopp 145 million, Chopper 15,000, Sanji 200 million, Frankie 100 million, Sanji 200 million, Frankie 100 million, Robin 120, Brooke 50 million. And that's about it. But yeah. Yeah. But next up is Sabaody, and I don't see this arc being much different. It's just actually Kuma is there, but PC0 is mainly the one fighting for him. And he was actually like reported like the Struts worked so intended that they blinded me, and the shrapnel destroyed one of my other eyes. So yeah, and so the Struts were just monsters because they're all double for each other that work well in tandem. Plus, they were actually compared to Rox's crew. They just had teamwork. So they weren't deemed a bigger threat than before. Like they're deemed a monster threat because of Sengoku and Garp's memories of the Rox crew. Like hell, even Rayleigh, when you hear how the crew functions, compares them to Rox, but much better in terms of morale. Like considers them like a mixture of Roger and Rox's crew combined. Like it's kind of what he thinks about them. Like they're held in the high esteem, but also a very scary esteem. So yeah. Also, Robin didn't fight Luffy knowing she actually would lose. She's the only sure that hasn't fought with Luffy. But also her and Luffy train together the most. Because she's the most versatile alongside Luffy and Frankie. So these two train together the most. Luffy, Robin, Chopper, and Frankie train together the most. Where then it goes down to Nami, Usopp, Zoro, and Sanji train together as well. Brook is kind of figuring out who he'd go with, as he fits into both categories decently well. But he decides to go with Zoro, who's a swordsman. So, yeah. But, yeah. So, Frankie slaps them all over the place, but they're still ready for this. And they know that if they need to, they'll come back together. The captain will have their back. But yeah, so we can really go to Amazon Lily, where Luffy isn't beaten by anyone. So, like he's not captured at all. He doesn't know not to eat mushrooms. He turns to Chopper a lot. Him and Chopper hang out a lot. So, he doesn't know not to eat mushrooms that he finds weird. But he did recognize a few types of mushrooms, so he ate those ones, and they didn't really have any bad effect on him. So this worked for him. He never got, no touched by that one girl. I forgot her name. But yeah. So, yeah, he's not captured. But he was, like, escaping the village or the main town, and still met Boa. Then Boa realized that Luffy was still on her side. The only thing is different is he wasn't captured. He honestly just accidentally crashed into Boa's room, then got captured by someone using Haki on him. Then he still defended the sisters, and everything else. Then Impel Down would happen. Bone-chan, she has a synthetic leg, but still forgive the Straw Hat crew, even Sanji. But Bone-chan to join them. Crocodile was actually wanting to join Luffy. Yep, definitely. I will go with you. Luffy seemed to be a really strong fighter, and even the government deemed Luffy a bigger threat than most pirates currently. Plus, he's the strongest of the worst generation, which held him in an even higher esteem according to most people. Not according to a higher esteem to most people. So he was the same people he did in canon, but Jinbei was ready for Luffy. As a little Whitebeard even compared Luffy to a really strong pirate that even Roger struggled with at some point in time. Whitebeard didn't name him, but Whitebeard said he was on that pirate's crew, as more like a rookie. But yeah. Marineford. Luffy, when he's landing, doesn't land straight in the water where Jimmy needs to help him. He's spring cold to the point where he just kicked the air so hard that he got sent flying straight at a giant. Giant tried to grab Luffy, only for Luffy to go gear third and punch him straight into the ground. And Luffy just kept coiling and spring hopping around to everyone, yelling them all in the back to the point where his shockwaves and impact would break bones if he's kicking off you or kicking towards you. We kind of like gear fourth, but no Haki. So yeah, because this kind of what this form is, just a bit more strength just a bit more strength or a bit more speed, same strength but no Haki. Faster, yeah, just faster, same strength, no Haki. That's all it is. So yeah, but this Luffy's got a majority of the Marines around him. Anyone that came near him most likely is beaten up. Even when Mihawk had a face when Luffy's cold punches, Yoru was sent flying out of his hands. That's how much strength Luffy had, but his hand is broken now. But still, he still got to Ace eventually as he passed Sengoku, and she just grabbed the platform herself, flipping it in the air. But Ace was still on it, while no one else was. And through the platform, full speed ahead, just like straight towards Whitebeard. Everything held out one hand, catching it, putting it down, and cutting Ace free immediately, stabbing his Naginata into the locks, breaking Ace free. And Whitebeard told Ace not to fight at all, just sit back here. And Ace obeyed. So, yeah. So, Marco got on the boat, began healing Ace for a bit with all other doctors, and Ace is not allowed to fight until Whitebeard says so, and he would obey Whitebeard to the end. So until Ace has full capability, like until Marco says so, he's not allowed to fight. Marco eventually did leave for the other doctors to tend to him, and Luffy stayed near the Moby Dick, only to be confronted by Garp and Sengoku. But still, Luffy kind of just immediately went by Garp, but he expected Garp to grab him. He knows Garp is a Marine hero, and that a lot of the Marines here are still stronger. But still, as Garp grabbed him, Garp suddenly just quote kicked right in the ribs, and no, it didn't hurt at all. It was just the shockwave sent him flying off his feet. But Luffy picked up Sengoku picked up Garp by the neck and basically choking him out as hard as he could. Garp was able to somewhat pull Luffy's arms off him, but Luffy kept wrapping him around Garp as much as possible. Before Sengoku got away, Luffy just kicked the ice, and it sank Sengoku. So yeah, eventually Luffy rolled over in the water, holding Garp under it, and Garp's like, Luffy's gonna drown down here, but so is Sengoku, who do I save? Suddenly, he Jinbei was swimming by, nailing Garp right down Sengoku, while looking at Luffy and swimming right up to the surface, jumping in the air, holding up Luffy. And since the thing was a dumb idea, but a good strategy at the same time. Good but dumb. Give Garp one ultimatum, knowing Luffy would be saved either way. It was a pretty evil way to think, but it still worked. As soon as Garp came back up, we jumped down, kicking Garp in the back, and flying halfway across the battlefield. So yeah, now with this, it's actually saved, and Inu and Whitebeard barely even fight. Whitebeard has like one hole in him, but when Blackbeard did arrive, you see that Ace was still alive, Whitebeard wasn't too badly injured, Inu was on the ground covered in broken bones. So yeah. Plus Luffy didn't fight Kobe, he kind of saw Kobe coming, so yeah. But one key thing that Luffy and Kobe have here, one, Luffy can conquer Haki twice, or uses it twice, but we can use observation Haki at the same time. So yeah, he wouldn't have the same time as Kobe, but he can kind of hear everything going on, but also see everything going on before they even happen. She dodged, kick from Kizaru, something shockingly. Then we put Kizaru so fast that Kizaru was barely able to block it. But Kizaru blocked it, being flung through the air, then landed on the ground. But Marco then kicked him in the jaw, knocking him out officially. With the Admiral down, no one was actually confident winning this war, now with one Admiral defeated. But with morale down, Sengoku eventually just said that the war is over, but they counted as a draw. But so suddenly, well, Blackbeard came out of nowhere and shot Whitebeard to the maximum degree. Even jumping over him, she kind of grab him and hold him down, just kind of just kill him. And so like, shot him in the head over and over until the point where he was dead. So yeah. But Whitebeard didn't even fall down when Blackbeard jumped on him. He was just still upstanding, as he could barely move, and now so many bullets were riddling his body all at once. Even Marines were now shooting Whitebeard. So Sengoku stop calling them basically just cowards who couldn't fight head on until someone else intervened. But eventually, Whitebeard is still killed. Blackbeard got his fruit, but he eventually had to retreat because Ace was still there, and he couldn't use the fruit properly. So yeah. But Ace did eventually just say he's probably going to give up on being a pirate. So, yeah. Not giving up, but he's done being a pirate. The one person who wanted to help become a pirate king is dead. And, well, he does have a dream to still be a good pirate, but kind of lived his dream. A lot of people know who he is. He's known as the Yonko Commander. Ace kind of finished up anything he wanted to do. So, his dream wasn't Pirate King. So, Ace's journey's done. But after this war, Luffy's bounty is 630 million. That's his bounty after this. But then we go on post Sabaody, where Luffy's a bit stronger. And Luffy's bounty, well, first he had advanced observation already, or unlocked observation briefly. Well, yeah, but still, Luffy's tournament readily still his hand was broken after the war, though, so it took a bit of time to heal, but still trained with his body. But with this, Fishman Island, not much difference. Usopp has a lot more pop grains. But yeah. Yeah, all this story honestly isn't much different to me. Until like the most difference would probably be just Rosa. Fishman Island and Punk Hazard isn't much different to me. So yeah. Pause. Yeah, so Punk Hazard and Fishman Island are much different to me. Then Dressrosa. We encourage all the Rise to go basically to Dressrosa and just wreak havoc. First thing they do make Fujitora, Luffy does call it Luffy is basically just cheaters. But immediately just punch one of them in the jaw when they try to basically run out Luffy. Luffy does also have a bit more of a brutal fighting style, the fact that he always fights. Like, even with his crew, even when they're not fighting pirates, he's fighting his crew. Just because they can. It's because this is kind of always fight to be captain to overturn one rule. Usually to overturn at least one rule. But yeah. So with this, well, Luffy is a bit used to more base combat and is a bit more prone to fight anyone he can. His instinct to fight is a bit more like Baji from Tokyo Avengers, where Mikey said, yeah, if he's bored in the tree, he'll punch someone out in the middle of the road just because he's bored. You know how Luffy is. If he's bored and hasn't fought in a while, he'll punch someone out in the middle of the street. So he did that to these guys because they're being rude to this old blind guy. We sort of thank Luffy, and Luffy and Fujitora do get on pretty well. And with this, well, we can kind of go on to, well, first Law versus Doflamingo. Well, or first Sanji versus Doflamingo. Sanji and Doflamingo are a bit closer in power than basically anyone else besides maybe Luffy and Zoro, who Luffy would beat him, but still, Doflamingo would basically just get hit with an explosion in the face so hard that his face is basically completely burned, or at least half of it is. But then when Yolandi has to fight Law now, but, well, first Robin and what was it? Robin and Usopp. They were the Tontadas, but Robin immediately is actually able to get all the Tontadas off of her. They don't wake up with the Tontadas all over them. That's Usopp got the favor relatively quickly. So when Law's being attacked by Doflamingo, well, one, Usopp immediately found a way to get Doflamingo off of Law by actually shooting through his glasses so fast that Doflamingo couldn't even track it with observation haki. Because Usopp learned it. His fruit is based off vision and sight. I think learning observation haki would help his fruit out a lot. Or his training his fruit itself would unlock good observation haki. So Doflamingo was actually hit one of his eyes. Not blinded, but still hurt. But then he did the same thing for Fujitora, but Fujitora was actually able to dodge it. On the first, Robin grabbed his feet, pulling him back towards the water, but he knew it was there, so he was able to power through it, but he canceled his double fruit ability, or changed the trajectory of the meteor, and he can't summon another one that easily. So, with this, meteor lands in the water, and Law is saved. But if Fujitora did think the strats for actually dropping in the water, Robin said that she was going to hold him up either way, as he did see the arms behind him. So, yeah. The strats are good people, but still, they do, like, just have their allies or friends above anyone else. But then Luffy, basically in the block for the Coliseum, he beats anyone in his path. Even Chinja, he called Chinja a dumb old fool for blaming Garp's sins on him, and then he beat Chinja to a pulp. Look at how it worked for him. But then we going to Luffy versus Doflamingo. Luffy's a bit closer to awakening his fruit than anyone else currently, besides maybe Doflamingo, who's going to awaken it any moment now. So, Doflamingo will fight, but Doflamingo's being pushed to his limit to the point where even Luffy doesn't even need Gear 4th. He just has so much fighting capability and technique that Doflamingo can't beat him. Even when he awakens, Luffy doesn't need anything beyond Gear 3rd and just breaks all the Dofi's limbs. I guess I've read Bookism, like the Jake Kim versus Yao Long fight. Luffy kind of takes it that way, like, oh, you're still fighting? Well, I already took one arm. I guess I'll take another. You're still using your legs. I'll take both of them instead. And then, well, he broke all of Dofi's limbs. And Dofi can barely even stand anymore. He can barely even use Devil Fruit. He just focused on beating Luffy, only that he didn't even launch Birdcage. He just focused on only beating Luffy. But also Zoro Pika. You know he can be a lot bigger, so Pika is just bitten almost completely in half by Nue. And Nue had eaten the real Pika and just shot him out immediately. But then Zoro cut him down the moment he found out where he was. So Pika doesn't really do any damage at all. The moment he emerged, he's swallowed and then pooped out by some flaming monkey tiger snake thing. So yeah. And also just wreak havoc all across Dressrosa against any pirate that wasn't with Doflamingo. Fujitora is like, these pirates are brutal, but they're good-hearted. Like, they're good-hearted monsters. It's kind of what he says. But yeah. After this arc with Fujitora actually considering them good-hearted monsters, keywords to the Marines, even Sengoku thought that was kind of shocking, that Fujitora was someone a monster in terms of power. With these bounties, 710 million, because Doflamingo didn't even, like Luffy just said that Doflamingo wasn't worthy of him going all out, he's too weak. Doflamingo being called too weak by some 19-year-old kid who's stretchy. But then putting it that way makes it even worse. Luffy, 710 million. Zoro, 350 million. Nami, 210 million. Usopp, 180 million. Sanji, 140 million. Chopper, 50,000. Robin, 190 million. Frankie, 150 million. Brook, 100 million. Those are all their bounties currently. So yeah. But, yeah. Also, Law just shocked at how strong the shots were. Also, he actually asked Luffy if he's serious about not going all against Dofi. Luffy just nodded, saying, yeah, Doflamingo wasn't even close to going to my all out. The best, I had to use half my power against him. I had one gear and 3 forms of that gear, and hundreds of techniques in all those gears. Or not in all those forms of that one gear. Dofi was not worthy of any one of those techniques. Also, guys, curious about one thing: Bellamy. Bellamy hates Luffy but loves him, because Luffy taught Bellamy a lesson about basically just pride and ego. But also shattered both of those for Bellamy. Bellamy has like no pride left. Like when his crew started talking about him, he beat the shit out of his whole crew because he was just so shattered in terms of ego. So Bellamy hates Luffy with burning passion, but loves him at the same time. Or respects him at the same time. Not loves him, but respects him. The next arc would be Whole Cake Island. Or first Zoe, but then Whole Cake Island. But Zoe is much different. And now there's Whole Cake Island. But yeah, so no, Sanji. And Luffy knows what I should just fight back in Sanji, telling Sanji that he'll make sure that Sanji does learn his lesson, But first, that Sanji can still give permission to leave his crew. Or Luffy says if Sanji does beat him in a fight, he can leave. Luffy halfway through realized how selfish this was and actually let Sanji win. And Sanji and Nami both knew this, so Nami then tells Sanji that he's not a captain, he's a coward, and just walked away picking up Luffy. So yeah. And Sanji then says that it's true, he is a coward. Also, he beat the shit out of all the siblings, besides maybe Reiju, and he even beat the shit out of Judge. It was because they pissed him off to the max. Like, yeah, I'm a Delphi user, I'm a hockey user, I can beat all of you in seconds. He's like, oh, prove it. And Sanji almost blew skin off his face. So, yeah, he just knocked out from that attack. But still, we can probably go on to the next most of the important parts of the arc. Like, Luffy vs. Cracker. He beat Cracker in seconds. It wasn't a fight, it was a slaughter. Luffy versus all Big Mom's kids. Well, Luffy kind of said that still holding on my way to run, but she has a good fight in a minute. This should be fun for her. But also Chopper and Brook are somewhat on the island, so, yeah. But yeah, so Luffy and Nami fight all Big Mom's kids. And Luffy immediately went he's like Snake Command, saying this shit, and at least half the kids the moment they get in eyesight. And he's right, it does. Of all of them in eyesight, they just one attack take most of the kids down. But Nami would also use all her abilities to climb attack to their max limit, destroying most of Big Mom's kids without any difficulty. So yeah. Plus, in terms of Delphi skill, she's not as good as Crocodile is. So, yeah. Plus, in the middle of a storm currently. This is her element. Stronger than Crocodile is now. Stronger than Crocodile is now. So she beat other half Big Mom's kids in like 5 minutes. Sanji arrived, there's no destruction anywhere, just all the kids were knocked out with not one bit of destruction around them. But maybe a bit of like just uprooted, like maybe like one uprooted tree from Nami's storm, but that's about it. You brought Luffy food, and then they kind of make up. Then the wedding. Sanji's kind of going on with the plan that Nami set for them. And, well, after this, we can really go on to, I would say, maybe Luffy try to curry. But Luffy, like I said before, was already close to waking his fruit, but they're actually fighting 24/7 with the Straw Hat crew. Just because, well, they battle. They battle to change rules on the ship, or they battle to become captain. Mainly Usopp and mainly Chopper, Usopp, and Brook fight Luffy to become captain. Brook for fun, Chopper just because he thinks it'd be cool. Brook for fun, Chopper because he thinks it'd be cool to be a captain, and Usopp because he generally wants to be a captain. But still, there's the crew just fights him for just fun or change, but the change isn't really necessary at all, actually. But yeah. But Luffy actually, well, Luffy's got a curry. The 12-hour fight ended in like 3 hours. So, yeah. So Luffy emerged with Big Mom fighting Sanji and Nami. Brook fighting like I guess Chopper and Brook and Nami can Chopper and Brook can basically destroy most of Big Mom's kids by themselves. Chopper doesn't know hockey, but he's still a way better fighter than anyone else here. He's a martial artist, a great one at that. So, yeah. Basically, everyone here is losing to Brook and Sanji, not Brook and Chopper. But when Luffy had emerged, he fights Big Mom himself, telling Sanji and Nami to go fight anyone else. So as Nami and Sanji leave, Luffy and Big Mom fight, and Luffy had awakened his fruit in the middle of the fight as he was a lot closer, like I said before. So Gear 5th comes out currently. This one she does barely beat Big Mom, but honestly it was just through him being a bit craftier than her and kind of dropping Hokage Chateau on her, but making his arm so big and coating it in hockey, he just slammed it right onto her, just knocking around just how much pain she was in. So yeah, so everyone would see Luffy beat Big Mom, and Morgan's reported this. Luffy's bounty after Whole Island. Well, just credited that basically, like I guess like Stussy who was there. Stussy's like the girl in CP0, and just quoted that, just to keep the global government from going insane and yelling at both of us here, you're sending out people to kill us for being here. You give him a lower bounty and credit it to at least an alliance with Beijing, Jinbei, and his crew intervening before. Give him the bounty of like 2 billion. And well, Morgan's seeing the point in all this, but also seeing the juicier news about this. Luffy has so many allies, even Big Mom's own family. He thinks it'd be a better story than Luffy being a new emperor, honestly. Luffy's current bounty is 1 billion, even though it should be in the 4 billions right now. He did most of the Big Mom fight by himself. Plus he also beat Katakuri, but yeah. Nami 300 million, Sanji 430 million, 400 compared to Zoro's 300. Chopper 160,000, and Brook 200 million. Chopper gets a bit more expected here because he's actually a bit more active as a fighter and a bit more noticeable. Because because he shrinks mid-fight and destroys everyone. So, yeah. But now Wano. I don't see a lot of this arc being much different, honestly. Only thing is that the stars have the habit of fighting anyone they see. Even Law picked up that habit as when Luffy went to fight Kaido, Law joined in. So yeah. So Law and Luffy are both in Udon prison, but Law can break out anytime, and he does break out at any time. So, yeah. So Law can go in and out whenever he pleases, and actually unlock Luffy, not unlock, find a key, and even, knows about Kawamatsu. Kawamatsu kind of leaked everything that he could about Denjiro, of all the scabbards, too. They even reached out to Denjiro in private, and Denjiro's like, oh, well, from Kawamatsu prison, you know, if all scabbards here, after this, I can invite you to Orochi's next party as my assistant. So at the festival at the meeting where Komasaki quote unquote dies, Kyoshiro introduces Law is basically like his right hand man, the one who the only one who can actually beat Denjiro. Like this, this actually does scare Orochi that he's never heard of can beat Denjiro. But immediately as Hiyori's about to die, he already called out that Hiyori was about to be, slashed, and Denjiro told Law to swap out whatever was going to hit her. So he got her kimono briefly, her kimono swapped out basically with the steel pan, and flipped so fast that no one ever saw her get hit. Which Law was one doing this quickly and immediately act like she died. No, she's like, where's the blood? Where's the blood? And there's like, oh, it was just a very swift stab under her kimono, or she believed it. So yeah. But then with Brook basically wanting to go find out everything else, they want that Orochi's his quote unquote scabbards. When the one they saw Brook's ghosting, he just appeared and cut them all down in seconds. He killed the majority of them. The only one left is the guy with the big ass head. He's the only one left alive by Brook because Brook missed a vital spot. So yeah. But now with this, we should go into basically just the training for all the threats, where they just train as a group to their max ability. And when it came to Udon Prison Uprising, Luffy beat Queen into a coma before being the only reason that he beat Queen into a coma, because he already knew Ryuo. He's been training his abilities in prison using Haki only. So yeah, because Law unlocks her handcuffs at night, and Luffy just she'll tell Kid that they should sneak out and go train, and they should come back when Queen is around so he can beat him up. Just send a message to Kaido, and Kid thought it was a good plan just because he thought it'd be fun to beat up Queen. So Luffy already knew Ryuo decently before Hyo even helped him. So did Kid, and Kid even learned actually to control conquerors, because Kid's a conqueror's user. I didn't know that. Yeah. So Luffy and Kid are just monsters because they sneak out of prison at night just to train, then wait for Queen to arrive. So yeah, they even help out Kawamatsu to escape, and Kawamatsu trained them in Ryuo. So yeah, so the whole tournament thing, Luffy already knew Ryuo and just kind of knocked out everyone with it. Even Queen was shocked that Luffy knew Ryuo. But eventually Kid came from behind, grabbing basically just Queen's along his neck and throwing him through the air. Before Queen can even react, Luffy just jumped and used Red Rock to slam him through most of Udon prison, knocking him out. And when everyone realized that Queen was actually defeated, all the person around them as Luffy had freed him, Hyo, and Kid just freed everyone else in a split second. So they completely annihilate everyone in the prison. This was not enough time for actually Kid to just catch Killer and then put him on a good path. So yeah. And Law is currently actually figuring out a cure with Chopper for smile fruits, or at least it cancels out the laughing part, but not the side effects. But all they can do is stop laughing, but not just lose the Delphin ability in itself. To be a little too overpowered. But yeah, with this, the training would still commence. We can probably go on to the fights now. First, Luffy, Kid, and Law versus Big Mom and Kaido. Luffy already knew Ryuo, and in the training that he did to actually first off master Ryuo, he was at the time learning Konkusaki coding, so he entered the fight stronger than he was in canon. He enters the fight with decent knowledge of Gear 5th, because he went against Big Mom and beat Big Mom in Gear 5th 2 months ago. So yeah. So kind of weird how strong Luffy is, even compares he says the only one here who can probably beat him is Luffy, saying him and Luffy are standing as equals because he beat Charlotte Linlin. So Luffy's already acknowledged as Kaido's equal. So yeah. So Kaido acknowledges Luffy as an equal. Kid and Law acknowledges maybe someone who can compare to Big Mom together. Then Zoro would actually basically be told to screw off and fight King. So Zoro does just that, but has Konkusaki coding as well, as he's a Conqueror's user. So yeah. Zoro beat King still, but a bit easier. Nami fought Ulti, but she beats Ulti with little to no difficulty. Nami's a Logia user and one who's still is literally in her element. So yeah, plus they're floating through the sky in a literal sense. They're catching a lot of wind and everything. Plus Onigashima has no doors. Wind's everywhere, and Nami just used all that gust to blow Ulti right into the ocean. And I doubt Ulti is relevant, so Ulti is dead. Page 1 will have to fight Usopp, but Usopp moves a lot faster than Page 1 can, shockingly, even though he's Page 1 is a dinosaur. Usopp just used a Tabasco scar right in his eye, and then blinded him and steered him right out the door, flying him into the flower capital, making him just crash land and almost die. Sanji will fight Queen, but Sanji's a bit stronger, as even the Germa acknowledge Sanji as like someone who's stronger than them now. Even Judge had to admit that Sanji's stronger than all the siblings, even without using his Devil Fruit ability or Haki. He had that much overwhelming strength and speed that his siblings can't keep up with him. So, yeah. Even Judge tried to do like tests on Sanji when he was asleep, and found out Sanji was still a cyborg, and he was told that, even when he got the test results. Sanji, where he's a cyborg, just hates it, but Zeph says that Sanji's technology is a bit less advanced because there's some side effects to them. Sanji's aware that he won't be like siblings, and when he got his when he got his basically everything, like cyborg abilities, it called out to be different than all the siblings combined. So he beat Queen not long after the fight started, like maybe like 8 minutes later. So, Queen's beaten 8 minutes after the fight started. Chopper would have to basically fight, I would say, he fought Queen for like a brief minute. That's about it. A few minutes. Robin versus Black Maria. Robin had the biggest change in the time set. The fact that she was not obsessed with fighting, but she fought a lot more often, was used to fighting all the time. So she fought with Sabo, Koala, and Hack all the time, which enhanced her martial arts skill, and her Delphi usage, range, and ability. And she knows armament Haki. Black Maria is slaughtered in this fight with disrespect. The maximum amount of disrespect that Robin can give her, she gave her. And Robin ends that fight without really much injury. He has at least maybe like a small bruise from Black Maria hitting her. But yeah. But also Frankie versus Sasuke. Frankie's Shogun is basically, the red is replaced with gold because Frankie has enough gold to basically coat an entire island. So Frankie just kind of look like Sasuke, and him and Sasuke fight with a bit more, his bit better material, even knowing a bit of armament Haki, as he always fights. So yeah, Ultra's besides Nami and Chopper can use Haki. So yeah. Nami doesn't need Haki, so yeah, she has skill and knowledge. But yes, yeah, Frankie beats Sasuke a bit easier than canon by almost throwing him off Onigashima. Sasuke comes dangling off the edge and then almost dead. Brook just fights anyone he can and does beat a decent amount of people. So yeah, he can beat like I guess if like Sasuke is back up, Brook can probably beat him. Luffy does fight against Kaido, and actually is overwhelming him relatively easily. Actually, no, Brook can fight CP0. Brook can fight CP0. There. So yeah. Luffy fighting Kaido, and actually the fight, Kaido acknowledges Luffy as an equal, plus Luffy can transform into Gear 5th. Quite actually willingly. It would take a lot of time to actually focus and do it, but still. Once him and Kaido were like panting and tired, Luffy just turned into Gear 5th randomly, which shocked Kaido, and then he beat up Kaido in that form. So, yeah. So, CP0 kind of confirms Luffy does that by will now, and has better Haki control, conquer Haki coding, it seems. So, by the end of Onigashima, or by the end of Wano itself, Green Bull told not to go with the fact that Luffy may be stronger than Admiral at this point, or rival an Admiral, and told Green Bull not to risk his fleet and his life. Well, he didn't see the point in this and eventually kind of just gathered up the Beast Pirates and just left, so there's no Green Bull arriving. Now, the end of Wano bounties. Luffy, 4.02 billion. Kid, 3.6 billion. Law, 3.6 billion. Zoro, 1.54 billion. Nami, 480 million. Usopp, 400 million. Sanji, 1.5 billion. Chopper, 1 million. Respect. Robin, 900 million. Frankie, 600 million. Brook, 480 million. Yamato, 1.9 billion. And Killer, 640 million, with Jinbei, 950 million. Okay, Killer, 640 million, Jinbei, 980 million. As Jinbei's fight with Who's Who is much different. He didn't have time to fight the Straw Hats 24/7 like everyone else did. Jinbei's power is much different. But the next arc, probably Elbaf, which I don't see that arc as being a bounty changing arc. Also, I'm not going over the bounties at the end of these arcs anymore. I'm like doing that. And then time or paper. But yeah, so Um, yep, I found the arc probably Elbaf probably gonna be a training arc, or at least a more backstory filled arc. That's how I view it. More like a lore and backstory filled arc, but also maybe Luffy meeting Shanks again, and then him and Shanks kind of just going over history together or their stories. Next up, probably Vera or Lodestar. Vera would probably be an arc where they find like a poneglyph, maybe more like a treasure hunt arc. It would probably Vera, not a bounty changing arc either. So they do that. If I find like a poneglyph, then Lodestar. I see that as being, or actually Pirate Paradise actually. I can see them meeting Moria there if he's still alive. They beat up Moria. Moria ran out on Blackbeard. And then next up is Lodestar. After that, where Blackbeard's waiting for them. Then when you're waiting for them, they fight. Then that fight is a race to the One Piece. Blackbeard already had everything set up for them, even traps. So he beat Gather first, and then Luffy and Blackbeard fight over the One Piece. Well, in the meantime, him and the revolutionaries has to wait on Marineford. In the meantime, Luffy had actually beaten Lobby and Blackbeard, and Gear 5th almost lost, but Luffy had better hockey and even invisible hockey. So yeah, Master Conquerors. There's Master Observation, Master Armor Hockey, beat Blackbeard, plus a Master Double Fruit. So Blackbeard just stand a chance. I'm thinking he mastered the Gura no Mi. I don't think he mastered any Double Fruits, but it just has good hockey, and that's about it. So yeah. Honestly, the whole Straw crew has an edge up over every single member of the Blackbeard crew in every single way, besides maybe intelligence, where a majority of them are idiots. But yeah, so Luffy's crew has better battle IQ than basically everyone in the world. So there's really no need to go over any fights. Luffy just demolished Blackbeard with better hockey. That's about it. Zoro cut down Shiryu in one slash. That's because, well, basically all of them awakened their fruits in this fight because they're all Dofus users. Their awakened fruits are overpowered as all the hell, so no one can beat these awakenings. Then Marineford. Probably not much of an arc. So yeah. So this is probably not much of an arc, more like just a slaughter, as Marineford would need the Straw Hats to go there because of Sabo, obviously, and Shirahoshi, and Vivi, and Cobra, and Rebecca. So many people would need help up there from Sabaody. From Marineford. To go up there, they find Sabo probably dead, at least. That's my opinion. Sabo's dead. But Ace is there with them, because Ace heard about Sabo's supposed death. Sabo is there. Ace is there for Sabo. This Ace didn't come over to Wano, the fact that he was just still not really wanting to be a pirate. Sabo also doesn't have the Marineford no Mi, but still he's just better at hockey. But yeah, so up here, basically everyone would go on a raid, they defeat anyone in their path. Luffy had fought Garp and Sengoku, he beat them both. Then Zoro fought like Samurai Gandhi of the Gorosei, he beat him. Yeah, basically everyone loses the fight to the Straw because they're mastered awakening users and also mastered hockey users besides two of them, three of them maybe. Brook, Nami, and Chopper they don't have mastered hockey, but they have mastered Double Fruits. So literally this is a crew full of awakened Double Fruit users who have elite hockey besides two of them, and one of them can only use one form of hockey on an amateur level. So yeah, it ends the story. That's the best way to say it. Ends the story. Bounties at the end of the story, though. Luffy, 12 billion. Zoro, 6.4 billion. Nami, 2 billion. Usopp, 3.4 billion. Sanji, 6.2 billion. Chopper, 960 million. Robin, 4.8 billion. Frankie, 3.3 billion. Brook, 2.4 billion. Yamato, 5.9 billion. Jinbei, 4.9 billion. So, yeah, this ends the story now. The Straw Hats demolish anyone in their path. That's because they're making Master Awakens in the end, and their hockey as well. So, listen to the story, like and subscribe for more. The next What If? Probably this one. You're gonna read that. Extraordinary forces of evil now fight for the greater good. Alright, adios.